A very good afternoon, everyone. And we have the panel with us here, which is going to be talking all about fashion and makeup for your wedding. So we have with us Jasmeet Kapany, who is the makeup artist, Jewellyn, who's going to be talking about all about bridal fashion. We have Melinda, all the way from Jakarta, who's going to be talking all about fashion, and Priyanka Ghai, who is going to be moderating this session. So that's a pleasure. Asghar, I would request you to put Pris on the backstage. So Sheila can be at the backstage while Melinda is on stage. Asghar, if you can do that. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here and a very good afternoon from India, Melinda.
Yeah.
So before we start off, I will just give a quick intro of Priyanka, who is going to be moderating this session, and I hand over the stage to Priyanka then. Thank you, Priyanka Ghai, who is the MC and moderator for this session. Priyanka is a warm and approachable anchor with a doors always open attitude. Her love towards events has made her stay strong even after 6 years in the industry. She leaves her audiences pleasantly surprised with her friendly demeanor and inanimate charm. Her ability to handle each and every event differently makes her the most sought after choice for the ones who have worked with her. I mean, it's a pleasure, Priyanka, to have you here and have you moderate this panel. So, welcome to all the other panelists and speakers. Thank you so much for being a part of Espousal. It's an honor to have all of you on board. With that, Priyanka, all of you.
Thank you, Shika. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everybody who's here and welcome aboard. I really appreciate you coming over to Espousal, the first ever wedding expo, which is online. And we are setting the bar really, really high right now. Let me quickly introduce all of our panelists. The Bespoke Fashion Consultant is a fashion incubator intends to help the designers and people of their fashion business. We have the founder, Melinda Babyanna, who is with us and who decides to help fashion labels succeed with her diverse experience in the fashion industry. Thank you, Melinda, for being with us today. It is a pleasure having you on board.
Thank you so much, Priyanka.
Moving on to our second panelist, we have a revolutionary fashion designer who is focused to make an impact in the minds of millennials and the world of his collection, which is authentic, inspiring, and sustainable. We have Jewellyn Alvares with us. Can we have a grand applause and a grand welcome to Jewellyn, please?
Thank you, Priyanka, and it's good to be here along with Melinda and Jasmeet, and of course with you on this panel. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure, sir. The next up on stage, or the next up in our panelists, is our a name that is synonymous with fashion industry from decades, a fashion show director and an actor who has given us a platform to multiple fashion faces we see today. Thank you for joining us, Rahul. How are you doing today?
Don't see Rahul here.
Okay. We'll wait for Rahul when he joins in. Before that, we have an A-smart makeup artist who fulfills every bride's dream of being the most beautiful version of herself. Jasmeet has been the preferred choice of most brides in India and abroad for their B-Day. Since 8 years, she's been contributing to being an influencer in this era, welcoming Jasmeet Kapany to this platform. Thank you so much, Jasmeet, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Super. Let's quickly dive into this insightful session because I cannot wait. The first question is for you, Melinda. Sabyasachi's red or Abu Jani's Gota design. Why do all brides prefer a fancy designer labels?
Yes, okay. Thank you so much for having me from Jakarta. Wow, this is a pleasure to be here with all the panelists, with Jasmine and Joe, and also Priyanka as well. And in Indonesia, it's a bit unique because when we talk about wedding, it's a huge industry in Indonesia because we have more than like 341 ethnicity in Indonesia, and then we have more than like 34 wedding traditional dress. When we talk about fancy dresses, we are talking beyond of modern and traditional wedding dress. So this is a huge industry in our country, and then for I see in the last 10 years, the wedding industry is become more breakthrough, because not only the dresses itself but also the total look. Especially for the dresses, now we can explore more when we talk about modern and traditional dresses. Now they can have more craftsmanship in the wedding dress, and then all the embellishment, and also intricate details, and that's so beautiful. Every ethnic have different traditional wedding dress. That's for me beautiful.
Melinda,
Yeah.
Melinda, sorry to interrupt you, but I think there is some internet problem from your end. While one speaker is speaking, I would request the other speakers to go on mute because I think there is some connectivity issues. And Melinda, I
Yeah.
request you to check your internet because there's a lot of disturbance.
Okay,
And
I will
if
check
you can
first.
keep your phone on portrait mode, if you can just turn your phone, that would be
Okay,
great.
okay. I will try to leave first. Okay.
Sorry?
I will try to check my connection first.
Yes,
Sure.
yes, yes, sure.
Yeah. Wait.
While that is happening, Priyanka, maybe you can go ahead and
Yes,
introduce Rahul, sir. Yeah.
absolutely. Now we have the most synonymous with the name that is synonymous with fashion industry from decades, a fashion show director and an actor who has given a platform to multiple fashion faces we see today. Thank you so much for joining us, Rahul Dev Shetty. How are you doing, sir? Sir, you're on mute. I would want to hear you. Lovely.
First of all, thank you for inviting me, and I apologize to the other uh, panel mates for the delay. I'm a little clueless about these new trends in live webinars, so I was there backstage. I didn't know how to press a certain button. Okay,
No
um,
problem.
but yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for
I don't think all of the veterans are very well aware. So we consider you as one of them, and we've given you an introduction twice for the benefit of the crowd as well. So that's a pleasure having you on board. Let's quickly dive into the question that we have for you. What does the
okay.
word fashion mean in the wedding industry or in the wedding context?
Well, see, my background is more into fashion events, so I will let the other speakers talk about the kind of dresses and the kind of accessories that the bride and the groom would wear, and even the guests. But let me talk about colors. India being so diverse, some disturbance coming. Um, India being so diverse, a color that is, let's say, auspicious in North India would probably not be auspicious down south. Um, However, after saying that, people are moving towards grooms are moving towards blue, maybe different hues of blue, like navy, teal, cobalt in their jackets. And uh, of course, accessories are big. Personalized masks will be in fashion due to COVID. Um, However, I think sustainability will be the biggest player looking forward, and you know you need to consider also to upcycle your wedding. I'm talking about events, fashionable events now. Um, so you need to commit to zero waste. You need to try and reduce your carbon footprint. Maybe use an heirloom engagement ring. Repurpose the flowers that you use in the ceremony. There's so many ways of not letting that go to waste. It's a phenomenal expense that weddings incur. Make candles out of them. Probably send it to an old age home or a nursing home and make people happy with those flowers. Also, weddings are getting smaller because of COVID. the destination wedding to an exotic foreign location, or even to a Rajasthan or a Goa in India, has moved to, let's say, a Coorg or a Chikmagalur, or even a heritage hotel in Mysore, or it could be a farmhouse, or even your own backyard. Um, so this gives the opportunity with the lesser guests, the per head or per plate expense budget goes up, and that leads to a very personalized, intimate, and a beautiful uh, event, I would say. You know, like food can be. Nobody will be left out. If you're a vegan, no problem. If you have a nut allergy, no problem. We can sort that out. And the couples are looking deeply into this particular aspect. As far as drinks go, I think vodka would be out, and probably gin would be in, tequila would be out, and mezcal would be in. Aerated drinks like bubblies and champagne will always be the flavor, regardless. Uh, yeah, that's about it as far as fashion goes. I would like to see the traditional wedding gown go a little shorter with some dazzling boots, accessories, and probably somewhere in that wedding gown, if they could, hide a pocket for a cell phone or tissues or lipsticks, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Wow. So I think you've actually summed up, the evolution of fashion in terms of wedding. And I think while we are at this topic, I would want Jasmeet to give me 2 cents about which was the celebrity who caught your attention and gave you an appreciating nod.
Um, so I'm sure this is a pretty common answer, but for me, it was Deepika. And simply because there's actually a reason to that. She is stunning no matter what she wears and how she dresses. But if we're talking specifically about her wedding look, she wore the red Sabyasachi lehenga. She wore the big jewelry. She did this smoky eye. And when it comes to a bridal look, these are all cliches now. This is something that we're trying to go away from because it's been overdone. But she did all of those. She carried them off. She pulled them off. They were so well knit together. Nothing on her was an eyesore. So that really, I think it was amazing because she had all the elements there, which might look garish on some people, all of those elements together. But she pulled it off. So I feel like that's why I appreciated her look, because she had so many events, so many receptions and other functions, but everything was just so well put together. And I feel like
Absolutely.
she really carried it off. So for me, it was her bridal look that really stood out more than the
Yes,
others.
yes. And we see a lot of minimalistic makeup in the smaller events, and we see the outbound smoky eyes in the main events. So that was the highlight of her makeup tutorials or her makeup looks that she actually pulled off. And
Yes.
those hair tied buns, which was so much in trend just because of
Yeah.
her wedding. I think that also
Yes.
gave the brides a new girl. Absolutely right.
It did.
Moving on
It did.
to Melinda again. We did not get an answer to Sabyasachi's red or Abujani's Gota design. Why are brides so, crazy about the fancy designer labels?
Sorry, is it already okay? My voice now,
Yeah.
Priyanka?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, can you repeat again the question because I cannot hear the previous one?
Okay, like we said, that we are all in for Sabyasachi's red or Abujani's Gota design. What do you think is the perception of a bride who prefers a fancy designer label rather than a normal boutique design or a bespoke fashion?
Okay. Now it's like you said the designer itself. Now when we are printing the dress, now the wedding dress is more like bespoke or custom design. Now everyone is we are like in several big country now in Indonesia, they develop more like less is more. So more minimalist wedding embellishment, and then all the material they have the total look is more minimalist. especially like last 2 or 3 years now. We are in Indonesia. We are more into simplify the design and the craftsmanship. If they're using like kain or traditional material, they want to be like more like everyone everything is more simple now, so they look is more minimalist and then modern and then not too much on the embellishment. Now we have what we have now a trend in Indonesia, and like we for the modern look now is like they all the color pastels and then all the white color and then lavenders is more like a trend now. So apply as well in the wedding dress. Yeah, that's the thing that we are combine the modern and then the traditional in what we have in Indonesia now. Yeah.
Absolutely right. So we understand that less is more, and minimalistic is in the trend right now, which is
Yeah.
why we have also had all the micro weddings taking, such a big high and such a great, probably the response from everybody because they're all liking the minimalistic approach. Moving on to some grooms that we have in the 2020, Julian, I would want to ask you this: that grooms are getting importance in this era of 2020. What is your take on groom fashion and jewelry? Julian, I think you are on mute.
Well, I think not just in 2020, but even in the years before this, we've seen a lot of change that has happened. In grooms, the way they dress for the weddings. It's moved away from the traditional colors. Like Rahul said, also, sometimes the traditional colors or colors that are considered to be auspicious, people are breaking away from those, from those stereotypes, that kind of govern what the groom also wears. So whether it was, the traditional colors for the sherwani, which used to be either off white or gold, or maybe a red at the most with a little bit of embroidery, is now moved on to all kinds of possible colors. Even the silhouette has changed. Whether even we're talking about even suits, for that matter, a lot of grooms are looking at tuxedos, and they're also looking at not wearing the three-piece suit, also because in most places the climate really does not allow for someone to be comfortable for that many hours in a suit. So maybe a lot of grooms are opting for vests and for lighter layered clothing. When it comes coming back to colors, again, the grooms are also now considered part of those mood boards and the storyboards that brides prepare so many of. Whether it is the outfit for their hair and makeup, they also factor in the outfit of the groom, because then the groom also now fits into that color story. And not only for the wedding, even for the the pre-function, post-functions, and all of that. So yes, the groom dressing has changed quite a bit. Earlier you would just go to somebody who would make a bespoke suit for you to get your outfit, but now you have the option of going to designers who are specifically doing menswear. At times, you're going to a designer who also is doing the bride's outfit, thus doing a coordinated look for the groom as well. The scenario has changed quite a bit. At least, I mean, as far as I can see, in the last 20 years that I've been in the bridal business.
Super, absolutely. Now it's time for all the grooms to take over, and I think they are no less. They are actually at par with all the brides in dressing up, in making sure that they look best on that D-Day. But talking about
Absolutely.
D-Day, I think the brides are very conscious about how they look. Jasmeet, I would want to ask you this: that our millennial brides have a very difficult time right now because they have to pick everything virtually. How do you think they can probably choose their best look in terms of this virtual world?
Um, it is difficult. Some designers are sending outfits home for trials, but a lot of the big ones are not. They're not even Sabyasachi, for example, is not even allowing you to step foot inside the store. So it is becoming a bit of a challenge. Um, Everything is there to be viewed online on everyone's pages, but also brides to be. I mean, it's very easy to get tempted by a new trend. You know, it's very easy to want that, but they have to bear in mind that everyone's um, body type, everyone's capacity to carry something is different. So when they're browsing online and when they're looking for something, if whether it's on models or other brides that have worn something, they should look at people who have a similar build, who have similar skin tone when it comes to colors, and always go for an aesthetic that's pleasing to you personally. Don't always chase the trend, because 10 years down the line, you don't want to feel silly when you look back at your wedding photos. So it's very important to keep in mind that you should always look at an outfit on someone that is close to you, whether it's your build or your skin type. I think that's the easiest way to do it when you're looking online, when trying isn't an option. So I feel like that is literally the only way to do it.
Absolutely. But how do you go about choosing a makeup artist for yourself? I mean, I know for a fact that I would want to look like Deepika. But given the fact that I am not like Deepika, how do I actually get to a point where I can try that virtually? How has the experience been of the brides?
Okay, so when it comes to your bridal look, there's four factors. There's your hair, makeup, outfit, and your jewelry. So if you want to look like Deepika, all those factors have to come in together. If your face shape is like Deepika, that's one thing. But if you want that aesthetic, all these four factors need to come into play at the same time. Um, Again, if you're stuck at home and you have no way of trying it out, the best you can do is, pull out an old dupatta or pull out some old jewelry from your mom's locker and put stuff together, try it on. When it comes to makeup specifically, I always tell my clients very honestly whether or not I think they can pull it off. There's so many factors that come into play technically when it comes to makeup: the shape of your eyes, the placement of your nose, all of these things, it's very important. Um, I mean, of course, we try to give the client what they want, but also we have to say no sometimes. So that
Correct.
also happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. So someone actually demanding you a celebrity makeup is not possible on their faces or their aesthetics is because of their features being different, and two people are never same. I understand that. But how would a bride go about ensuring that this is going to be my final look? Is that even possible in the virtual world, or no? Straight away.
To an extent. Even when
Okay.
we do physical trials, when we used to do physical trials, still used to tell them, but please don't depend on this for the final day, because it's just different. Something is always
Correct.
different on the final day. So you can have an
Absolutely.
idea, you can have an aesthetic in mind, like I said. But the final look is only put together when it's put together on the final day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct, correct. I agree. I agree. So we've been there. I mean, I think this is all we have to adjust to. This is all we have to evolve with. I know for a fact that face-to-face meetings are always the best, but virtual is actually doing a good job even today. So I think that's an advantage that we have. Thank you for that wonderful insight, Melinda. I would want to go over to you again, and I would want to ask you, what comes first, wedding jewelry or wedding outfits?
Okay. Normally, what I see is more into the first time is the wedding outfit, because that's the whole point of the total look. But as we know now, millennials, they inspired by the wedding jewelry first, then after that outfit. So there like a big changes between the millennials and the old generation, because when the old generation is they tend to look the wedding outfit first, then jewelry. But now it's very different, because the last year that we had wedding exhibition, all the jewelry maker and then all the jewelry designers, they open all the collection, and then all the millennials came to them first, then the outfit. So the wedding jewelry now is become the more the first inspired thing to have the total look, then the outfit and then makeup and then the hair. Yeah, it's a big changes now.
Yeah, I mean, because we've always heard that you need to pick the most expensive item first. So that's the
Yeah.
jewelry that you match to. I mean, you match the jewelry with your outfit, not the outfit to your jewelry. Is that what you're saying, that the trend is changing, or do we see that both of these are at equal importance?
Yeah, I think the trend is a bit changing now. Like, yeah, what I said, the first thing now is more into the wedding jewelry than the outfit. Yeah, for millennials, but for the old, like the old generation, they're still looking for the wedding first, then the jewelry, because now they want to be like no, it's like the wedding jewelry now. They are more into bespoke, custom jewelry. That's the inspiring, that's the first thing that they want first, then after that the wedding outfit. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, what do you suggest to your clients in capital if they are actually looking at, to buy jewelry or wedding gown first? What do you tell them to do in case they are walking up to you? You're on mute, Melinda.
Sorry. If
Yes.
client came to us, it depends on the what they want, what the objection of the wedding concept. So if they want
Okay.
more like, because now it's more, many grooms and many brides, they want the like private events or private small weddings. Now they want to be like, if they want to be seen, or they want to be like everyone want to see the whole, because the whole concept of the events, maybe I will suggest to have the wedding dress first, then the jewelry. But for
Okay.
the private events and then the small concept, more intimate, they would prefer to have the beautiful wedding jewelry, and then the delicate something like the accessories and then all that. Then the wedding dress is just simple and minimalist, something like that. Yeah.
Works well. Okay, perfect. Julian, I would want to come to you now. Local fashion versus imported brands like Jimmy Choo's of the world. What is your advice to the young bride who's ready to shop, or a groom as well?
So I think, I mean, whether it is the local brand or whether it is somebody that's, creating a look for you, internationally, or you're sourcing off the shelf, your wedding is one of those days that you're going to be remembering for the rest of your life. So it
Absolutely.
has got to reflect your personal style, whether it is the groom or whether it is the bride. Yes, it is one of those days where you will, want to look your best. You will want to, have that, that memorable look. And I also find a lot of brides who come to me and they have a look that they have in mind right from the time that they're growing up, that this is the way they would want to look on their wedding day. But I tell everybody, just make sure that whatever style you pick, it is, in line with your personal style. You don't want to be looking like somebody else or feel like somebody else on this special day, because at the end of the day, once you're in that bridal outfit, it's hours of being in that, whether it is, and depending on whatever the ceremony is, whether it is a short ceremony, a traditional ceremony, and whichever, whichever ceremony it is, followed by a celebration, you want to be comfortable in that outfit. So I think, firstly, it's about being who you are, and of course, then once you know what your style is, whether you find it with, you find it at a thrift shop, or you find it, with a designer, or you find it off a vintage store, or you have it customized. It all depends on what is the look that you're comfortable to carry off. And just to add a little bit more to what, your previous point was with Melinda about the jewelry. I come across a lot of brides, also when I'm creating the gowns, and I ask them if they have something that they already possess that they might want to have a part of their wedding look, especially, necklaces and things like that, where in the case of customizing, you can actually build on the style lines of the neckline, the shoulders, and all of those things based on a particular piece of jewelry, whether it is a pair of earrings, whether it is a neck piece, or sometimes they even have a tiara or a crown that maybe some that's part of their something borrowed or something old, which they want to use from either their another wedding in the family. They want to incorporate. So it's nice, so it, especially in the case of customization, sometimes you might have the jewelry first as well, and you can build on the dress, or the outfit, on those lines. So I guess it's just about what came first, that case.
Yes, it's more of a chicken and egg story. I don't even understand where to begin. Who is the one to actually give me a right guidance as to what should be brought first and what should be brought next? I mean, I understand that jewelry is dependent on the gown and the gown is dependent on the jewelry. So, what do you pick first is the main question right now. Any of you who could probably enlighten us about the same? Go on, Julian. That's all yours.
So
Go ahead.
I think again, if you have a set idea, you bring it to you bring it to your consultant who's helping you put together your look, to your stylist or to your designer, and just lay it out on the table. At times, I might have a few ideas that I might share with my brides, and a lot of my brides are really open to experiment. Whether it is turning a neck piece into the headgear sometimes.
Okay.
We've even done that. Someone has come with a bracelet and said, "I want this to be a part of my look. How do I do it?" So then, even though I might not be a jeweler myself, but I will probably recommend ways as to how it could be done. So it really depends on what the bride has in mind, and also how open she is to me, as a consultant or as a designer, to recommend certain options to the bride, and even to the groom for that matter. When since we're talking about jewelry, earlier jewelry was restricted more to, again, the bride. So everything that the bride wore, and at the most the groom wore a turban pin, or he had a ring, or maybe a string of pearls or something like that. But now, if you see the way grooms are accessorizing, it's not just about these two or three things anymore. You're having customized footwear, you having the initials of the bride and groom that are being embroidered or being embossed into the duties that the groom is wearing, possibly the brooch or the pin that is worn on the sherwani or the jacket, for that matter, again, is something that could be an heirloom, or it could be something that was made with, if the couple does have a sort of a monogram that they have designed for the wedding. Pocket squares are, again, something that has been in trend and continues to be in trend in so many different ways. Earlier, it was just the traditional, the damask or satin or something like that. But now you're having it customized, again, with initials, the story of the bride that is being put onto the pocket square or onto the tie, and then created. That fabric is created into the bow. You're hearing of endless possibilities, because I think we're in an era where customization is so it's so easily available. Point one. Point two, it's also something that is very sought after. So you have to be in a position to, again, cater to that sort of a bespoke, customized sort of a request that might come your way.
Absolutely. I understand the fact that customization is playing a key role right now. But do you think in the long run, if that gown or if that lehenga is supposed to be reused, would that actually, give an inhibition to a bride to wear it again because she has the whole story laid out, or if she has the hologram of, both of our, the couple as well? So would that be, of a lesser use or sustainability, or is just a one-time use that we are looking at?
I think it's all about how artistically it's woven into the scheme of design, so
Okay.
that it doesn't stand out. It still has a timeless sort of appeal to it. So yes, you might not be wearing the entire bridal ensemble as it is together. You might separate it. So you might wear the skirt separately, the blouse separately, the lehenga separately. So even if it's the groom, for that matter, you might just be wearing the jacket along with something else. You know.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it all depends on how you can either break that up, or if your designer can actually tell you how to put that outfit that you are, creating for your wedding to multiple use. And yes, having an option to reuse is again another, something that is the order of the day. You don't want to have just something that is lying in, a coat cover or a suit cover just hanging in your closet. You want to be able to reuse it.
Correct, correct. Absolutely understood. Rahul, the question to you would be right now, where do you see this trend going? Do you see more of the minimalistic events in terms of fashion and weddings, or do you see the big fat coming again? What's the range or what's the trend going?
That's a good question. We are all struggling with that. It all depends on how soon the vaccine comes out and um, how adventurous people would like to be. But at least for the next 6 to 8 months, I think we're still going to be looking at these private, small, intimate weddings. And like Mr. Alvarez was saying, the clothes, since these weddings would be away from a hotel ballroom, you would most probably be outside, and the kind of weather that India has is not conducive for really, ornate outfits. So comfort is the key. You need to find yourself an outfit that you would be out in the sun or in a warm weather for almost 8 to 9 hours. So the garment has to be a sustainable, two comfortable, especially the kind of footwear that you're going to be wearing. If it's a little tight, you may find it. You may find yourself with a
That's
shoe
a
bite.
very important
So
point. I agree. I
but,
think even by being an anchor, I know how footwear is important in terms of stage and the life that we have in live events, because that's something that actually is your foundation. If that's wrong, you can probably go wrong in everything else. This was a great discussion. Thank you, panelists. Thank you so much. Jewellyn, Melinda, Rahul, Jasmeet, you've been fabulous, and this has been an insightful session. I would like Shikha to come over again. Can we have Shikha back?
Yes. Thank you. So
Hi.
before closing in, I would actually want probably every panelist, because I think Rahul sir had something to say in the end. So, sir, you were saying something?
no, I was just reiterating what Mr. Alvarez and Melinda was saying. That's it. I was saying that the government needs to be comfortable, since her question was how long does she see this happening, these intimate small weddings. I think at least another 8 months we are looking into virtual weddings. Maybe a huge screen with a Zoom call with, let's say, food delivered to your close relatives, and everybody raises a toast on a huge screen. Yeah. These are the kind of
Right,
trends that we're
right.
looking at.
That's true. So I will also maybe have like start with Jewellyn to give a closing statement before we wrap up in terms of
Um,
how we see the fashion industry going uh, forward.
I'm happy to do that. So firstly, I think since the scope and scenario of planning, your wedding is changing. A lot of times we don't have the opportunity to have a face-to-face interaction with the client, so we're relying a lot, on the online various online platforms that are available. So whether it is for us, creating the clothes, whether it's for someone like Jasmeet who's creating, the looks, with the hair and makeup. I think this is one of the ways in which we all have to build a certain comfort level on working around, on the online format. The way we offer services now are going to change. It might mean customizing might really, mean going, the extra mile of, when it comes to fittings, when it comes to the delivery of the dress. It's not just about someone coming and picking it off the shelf and going. So I think the whole scenario is changing. A lot of us are, embracing this new scenario of how we work, and I think it's important for us to be more versatile in the way we adapt to these changes.
Perfect. Melinda, would you want to give your closing statement?
You're on mute, Melinda.
I just want
You're on mute again.
Melinda, you're on mute.
Technology has its own quirks. It's okay.
Agar, she is not able to unmute herself. Can you help with that? Agar, can you unmute Melinda? Yes.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just want to add something before yeah, for the finish, and then I also agree with Rahul. It's about comfort and personal style. Yeah, because that's the most important thing now. Because your wedding is a one day, it's one day a dream day that you have. So like personal style, it should be comfort, and everything that you put on your total look should be like yourself, not everyone looks. So that's the most important thing to have the most memorable day in your life. And then also like the comfort, the fabric that you use, and the silhouette, and all the things that you put on yourself should be something that statement pieces, but it's more like personal style. I think it's like for us, like in Indonesia, we are all the traditional the wedding dress that we have should be represent yourself, and then embrace local source. Yeah.
Amazing,
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you. Um, Rahul, sir, any closing statement do you have?
Well, I think all the panelists have covered most of the topics elaborately. From an event point of view, I would like to say that try and reduce the extra baht and reduce the weight. Self-dispensing uh, containers that could pour out your alcohol with garnishes on the table, and probably a conveyor belt for canapes and snacks to be, served to the guests. Uh, I don't know. It's a thought.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. And Jasmeet, from your end, your closing statement.
It's been so insightful,
Yes, it has.
especially last part. But I think everyone has covered everything pretty much. We just need to be very careful for the next 8 to 10 months, and I think it's only a good thing. You can never be too cautious. So I think this is actually pushing us in the right direction when it comes to safety standards. So let's hope for the best,
Yeah.
I guess.
And see what all are the new changes that are still going to come in and actually become a part of our regulars, right? Like the hygiene bit and taking care of ourselves and the ones around us. I think that's going to become a new normal, and we're going to learn to just stay with it. And in a way, it's good. I
Yes.
mean, the hygiene bit and everything, I think it's going to be good. But well, thank you, all of you, Jewellyn, Melinda, Rahul sir, and Jasmeet, for such an insightful session. Definitely learned a lot. And thank you so much, Priyanka, for moderating this amazing panel. It was a pleasure and honor to have all of you on board. Definitely looking forward to meeting all of you once again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye
having us.
bye.
Thank you.